isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Move on the map, never sleep. What you gonna do when you out? Where you ain't really don't really on the map, never slip. Take your hands to your left, don't take.
Over 40, make it 41. Mazda MX5 has pulled up to the Mead Prefecture in Japan. We're here at the ever so iconic and prestigious SUZUKA circuit. Ladies and gentlemen, it is season 27 of the Apex This Mazda Sunday series. My name, Mac Nelson. Behind the scenes and also on color, gonna be the big boss man, Rob Campbell. And what we hope to show you guys is just a little taste of what the drivers of the Apex This Mazda Sunday series can offer, will offer. It's going to be a banger tonight, isn't that right, Rob?
Oh yeah, it's you know, Mazda's Suzuka Sunday evenings. What more do you need to ask for, Mac? We saw how fun the action was here on Tuesday in the GT4s. We got pretty much all those drivers back again this week, plus a whole bunch more of Mazda specialists on track, so I expect it's going to be a real exciting one here tonight.
Yeah, I agree 100% as we take a look at the drivers that are qualifying. About 5.5 minutes left in qualifying right now, so as the music settles, we start to hear the a roar is a little bit of an overstatement. We are talking about Miatas at the end of the day, but it is a very good sound to hear nonetheless. Keegan Garrig in focus now in that 640 Donkey Kong Mazda MX5. He's been running a Mario themed paint for as long as I've been here, so I'm sure it's been a while. Jim Feliz now on the board with a 223.316. Michael Chase will know, actually Joshua Soto now in the 07 gonna come in with a 0.198 second difference over Jim Feliz, and then a half second back, a little less than that, is going to be Michael Chase. Your first mid-pack Larry of the group here going to be Sean Teeter, who currently sits P10 on the leaderboard on the timing tower there. His time going to be a 2:24.692. So if you're qualifying around here, Rob, what do you got to make sure you're doing?
Well, you're going to lose a lot of time in the S's if you don't get through there correctly, Mac, but thankfully it's not a great overtaking opportunity, so you won't necessarily have to worry about getting past, but you need to maximize your exit out of the S's, because once you get into the latter half of the track, that's where you get into the real quick section where there is some overtaking opportunities in the braking zone. So our driver's really going to have to try and stay on track. We saw Sean Teeter really sliding that back end around through the S's as he was on camera, and I kind of mouthed out a whoop a couple times there. It looked like he's going to lose the back end. So it's going to be real interesting here for our drivers to try and keep the car on track. But let's take a look at the track itself here while we're talking about it. There it is, Suzuka. As you mentioned, we are in the Suzuka Mi Prefecture of Japan. This track opened in 1962, so one of the older tracks on iRacing and in the grand scheme of things as far as the F1 circuit too as well. 3.608 miles, 5.8 kilometers, just under 6 kilometers long. It's a long track here. 18 corners going to challenge the drivers, and we're going to see a lot of action there in that final corner. Casio Triangle. It's where you see a lot of last gasp efforts to try and make the move around the driver ahead of you.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, obviously the iconic 130R corner. I mean, so many fun and, you know, competitive moments have come from that corner. But not only that corner, but I mean, this track produces some of the best racing we see across multiple series. I mean, F1 comes here, the World Endurance Championship. They have a 12-hour event here, at least they did a few years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And as we see Aaron Sunday, I'm sure this is a track that he is going to enjoy. It seems he does a lot better at these, you know, long run tracks where it's who's heavier on the brakes, who's going to be later on the brakes, coming down to those, you know, high speed or low speed corners, I should say, after a straight. And so I think Aaron Sunday might be somebody in the mid-pack Larry's division that you got to watch out for. He might be able to make some noise.
Yeah, and I think if I remember correctly, on Tuesday, Aaron had some family members in chat. I think they mentioned that Aaron and I'm not sure if his wife or girlfriend, what it was, went over to Japan, and they actually saw the, I believe it was the F1 race, the Japanese Grand Prix race. And they were talking about the, I guess, the cherry blossoms that he had on his paint on Tuesday in the GT4 race. So this is definitely a track that's going to be near and dear to Aaron Sunday's heart. So right now sitting at 32nd place in qualifying. We'll see if he's able to move up through the grid here as qualifying ends. But before we get any further, Mac, why don't we take a look at the schedule and see what kind of tracks these guys have heading forward to them. A lot of real interesting tracks, a lot of the most popular tracks on iRacing, I'd say.
Yeah, I think you've got an absolute amazing, a banger, if you will, top three here to start us off. We've got Suzuka here tonight. Next Sunday, we head to Belgium. We head to Spa-Francorchamps. And then we go to America on the third round. Going to be the 31st of March, Watkins Glen. You're going to get basically every single kind of track, apart from a road course, or apart from a street circuit, I mean, obviously. But you're getting about every sort of driving technique, every style of track in these first 3 weeks. So, Rob, I think after week number 3, we're going to have a very good picture on who's going to be competitive in both classes.
Yeah, it should start to separate the I don't want to say the men from the boys, but it might start separating the pros from the AMs here. we'll go with that. But you know, it's always going to be interesting, especially with I think we have over 40 cars now in session, Max. So that's going to make for some real fun racing. Suzuka, as we mentioned, large track or long track, so it shouldn't be too bad. But if we get these kind of turnouts heading a little farther into the schedule, even a track like Watkins Glen, you know, it's a popular track, but you know, it's not the longest track, it's not the widest track. You get 40 cars on there, especially heading up through the S's. We have a little bit of some lore here in the Apex this league that many years ago, probably early 2020s now, we had a race. I believe it was a Mazda race as well at the Watkins Glen, and the front part of the track through the S's got clogged up so bad with a wreck. I think 3/4 of the field got involved and was out in that wreck. So it'll be interesting to see if we get this kind of field heading into Watkins Glen, but that's going to wrap things up for qualifying.
Yeah, and as these drivers take the grid, we'll go over your grid now. It's going to be a stacked field, like Rob said, 40 plus cars here. So it's going to be very tight, very technical for our 2 20-minute heat races here. Season 27 Apex, this is seen by Jim Feliz on the pole. He is going to be your debut pole sitter. Joshua Soto in the 07 going to be outside row number 1, P3. Charles Wolf with P4 being Michael Chase. Tom Augerman in P5 with James Knoll in P6. Brian Lemke in P7. Thomas Lathrop in P8. And then rounding out row number 5, It's going to be Michael Brock and Shane Stern. Rob, pick up the next 10.
Yeah, in 11th place, row 6, we're going to find Tony Wallace and Kurt Moss. In 12th place, Joseph Marr and Sean Teeter are going to make up 13th and 14th with Matt Schlosser. You see him on Friday nights in the Special Stage League. Going to come in P15 with Kelly Greenhoe, who'll be sharing his camera tonight in P16. Nick Velasco in 17th. I believe that's a new name to the league. Welcome in, Nick. Jonathan Cooper in 18th. Corey Mitchell, who we've seen for many, many years. One of the admins in 19th place. And right out the top 20 is that Donkey Kong car of Keegan Garrick.
Yes, sir. And picking it up in P21 is going to be Ozik Silu with Sean Gapinski in P22. Roman Bykov in P23 with Kent Kruger in P24. Uwe Hale in P25. Outside that row going to be Christopher Croteau. So sorry.
Croto.
Spencer Bodwin. Croto. So sorry. Christopher Croto. Spencer Bodwin, Spencer Bodwin going to be in P27 with Craig Thompson in P28. William Stern in P29 with Joshua Smith in P30.
31st is we're going to find Mark Sherman and Kenton Bandy in 32nd. 33rd is Aaron Sunday. We'll look to see if he moves up through there. We know it's a track he loves. Matt Bond going to start in 34th with Harrison Neely and Glenn Blanchard in 35th. 36th, Michael Tanagretta in 37th. Felipe Cox in 38th. Mark Chang in 39th. Justin Beck going to start in 40th in the Bucky's machine, and then rounding out the field. Oh, it looks like Justin Beck in not sure why he's showing up there twice, but he's the final car 2 times there, Mac.
Justin back in the back. I mean, hey, it makes sense. Now I'm just playing with Justin, but we get set here. Pace car coming down the back straight, about to pass 130R here, and man, I was very surprised. Well, I don't want to say surprised because that has a bad connotation to it, but I was pleasantly surprised with how awesome the racing was Tuesday when we were here. And with these Mazdas, in my personal opinion, these cars are so underpowered. I feel like it means these guys are going to just naturally be closer together. It's going to be harder to put gaps on people. I cannot wait to see how we get started here.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting into turn 1 as they're going to get that long run down the front straight. Now, reminder to anybody at home might be tuning in for the first time, this is a go on green race, so the drivers cannot, the pole sitter cannot go when they choose. As some other leagues, it's on the pole sitter's command. They have to wait for that green flag, so we're going to see the whole field punch up here and be waiting for that green flag to kick off, Mac, which is going to just bottleneck things even more, but should be interesting as we get ready to go.
Yeah, green flag about to fly. Jim Feliz will have no button to push. As Rob mentioned, it's going to be on the drop of the actual green flag. Barney's going to be useful here tonight. You don't see it very often, but here we are. Green flag running here at Suzuka. Jim Feliz off to a great start. He has their right side. He's on the inside. He's got a whole stack of cars following him down this inside. They're not going to take a dive. It's going to be Joshua Soto in the 07. He's on the outside of that second right-hander. Now as they make their way into the S's, it's going to be side by side still. It's the 59 and the 07. They say you can't win it on lap 1, turn 1, but in a car like this, it is so important to get past the guy, and that's exactly what Soto has done around Jim Feliz on one of the final S's before we get going into the start of this opening lap.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see here, Mac. We talked to Josh Soto at the end of last season, and we had made note that he hadn't qualified the first half of the season, was doing the back-to-front challenges, and it looks like he held true to the promise that he was going to qualify this season. Going to have to see how he could do with the competition, and he's going to go for the championship here, so he got himself around Jim Feliz, as you mentioned early on. Now, can he try and pull away? We know the draft real strong in these Mazdas. It's always difficult to try and do that, so see maybe if they get a 8, 10, 12 car pack breaking away.
Again, the good thing about having a lead here at Suzuka, a lot of these corners are cambered, meaning the inside line is going to be very, very good through a lot of these corners. And, you know, that's kind of a normal when you go road course racing, but it's a little more pronounced here at Suzuka. You know, aside from the hairpin and maybe the Degnas, all these corners are very, very cambered. So passing around the outside, especially with a low power car like the Miata, it's going to be very hard to do, but we see Joshua Soto having a little bit of a moment. Jim Feliz, James Newell, and Charles Wolf now all ready to go around Joshua Soto. Tom Augerman The Irish 494 Mazda now trying his best to get through, and it looks like it's going to be a battle of the draft. Joshua Soto left out to dry, but he's going to squeeze in now.
Yeah, he's going to take that top spot. We just see something happen to Ozik Sulu. Unfortunately for him, meatball flag. We'll take a look at that once things settle down here a little bit. But just to behind, we got Shane Stern, new driver, throwing it up on the inside of Brian Lemke. Oof, a little bit of contact there for them. It's going to get Lemke a little sideways. Lemke kind of threw me off for a minute. I'm used to seeing his flat black ghosted Sky Lounge paint job car, but he's out there with a little bit of white on the car. It threw me off which car it was, but he's last season's second place finisher in pro class, looking to try and get himself a win here this season. But Jim Flees, last season's champion, right back up to the sharp end of the field here, Mac.
Yeah, I mean, Jim Feliz, his form is unmatched right now. And, you know, like you said, defending champion, he comes in with a chip on his shoulder. And for Joshua Soto, similar chip, because he is in, you know, similar fashion. Like you said, started the, you know, last to front challenge last season a little bit. He tried to play around with that. But now, with the commitment to qualifying, he wants to win the championship. Being in P5 with all these heavy hitter drivers ahead of him, it does not bode well. We're only racing for 20 minutes here, albeit we're doing it twice. We are only doing it for 20 minutes. As you see Joseph Marr there, he is going to drop down the grid. He had a little bit of a moment. He is now off track. Started this race in P13. He now sits in P30.
Yeah, rough start of the race, or season, I guess, for Joseph Marr, but there's plenty of time to regroup. Again, 24 heat races this season, 2 races each night. They can drop 8 of those 24 races. So, oh man, just up ahead of these guys, we see a number of cars around. Michael Chase, one of them involved. A ton of smoke kicking up. About to take a look at what happened to him, but he's going to fall back into 13th place.
Yeah, and Michael Chase, this is something we unfortunately see kind of regularly. It seems like the beginning of the race can never go well for Michael Chase. It seems like he's always battling from behind. As we see the contact there, I mean, racing incident for sure with Shane Stern there in the 67. They're kind of just both fighting for the same real estate. But yeah, Michael Chase, he just always seems to be having a come from behind drive. And granted, he does very well at it. He placed, I think, top 5 in the points last season. But if he can just work on that early race craftsmanship and getting through those few first opening laps, I think he could be a real contender for the title.
Yeah, no doubt. It's one of those things where some guys just seem to have that bad luck around them. And, you know, you like to take and say that it's everybody else around you, but, you know, sometimes you just got to try and find that common denominator yourself where, you know, maybe you do find that you're a little aggressive around other drivers, giving them a little more credit. So maybe you need to find allow a little more room, back off a little bit, allow that space for if that driver doesn't have that perfect line, that they're not necessarily driving into you or bumping into you and sending you off track. So we'll see. Maybe Michael Chase can get things sorted out. You know, he's got a lot of pace, a higher I-rating driver at just over 5,000. So we know he's got the skill to go fast. We'll just see if maybe he can get himself out of trouble here as the season carries on.
Yet I agree, your first 11 drivers going to be in the Going Pro class. P12 is where you're going to find your first mid-pack Larry. It's going to be the 117 of Sean Teeter, and he's got about a 4-second gap, I believe that is. No, actually, it's only about a 2-second gap back to Keegan Gehrig in the 640. Keegan Gehrig in P2 for the mid-pack Larry's class. Right now, he had a very, very viable championship bout. As you see, Kelly Greenhoe there, the Monterey, California driver with the Gulf poster in the back. The Apex this license plate, that is fire. Wow, that's the best POV I've seen in a while when it comes to the iRacing drivers. So big shout out to Kelly Greenhoe for sharing his camera view there.
I don't want to brag, but I have a couple of those too as well, Mac. They were prizes for winning. I think it was the top 3 in it was GT3 that we ran that season. I can't remember if it was Mazdas or GT4s. I think it was GT4 as well. So the top 3 in each one of those classes got an Apex this license plate. That most of the gifts or prizes are done by Brian Lemke actually on the season, and that was given out. So depending where you finish, you either got a gold, silver, or bronze plate. So I got a couple of those too as well. They were definitely one of the cooler gifts of the past seasons of Apex this. So well done to Kelly Greenhoe. I think he won his in GT4 that season, if I remember correctly. Or it might have been Mazda. I think we were doing 3 weeks, or 3 races a week.
Wow, well, that is cool. Glad to see Apex this coming up with the creative trophies and stuff. It's something you see a little splash of in motorsports, but you don't really see that big of a splash when it comes to sim racing. So very, very cool to see that. Also very cool to see your leader here, James Newell, who has overtaken Tom Augerman and Joshua Soto and Jim Feliz. So not entirely sure what happened to our leader, Jim Feliz, in the 59 Mazda, but for now, the 23 of James Newell and the 494 of Tom Augerman fighting very, very close. They're working on lap number 4 as we speak. 12 minutes to go, so we're almost to the halfway point in heat race number 1, and someone who it has not been a very good night for, it's going to be Kent Kruger, part of Big Dog Racing in the 39 Mazda. He sits behind a whole gaggle of going pro drivers. Spencer Beaudoin there with almost a non-existent front end. We take a look back at Kent Kruger, the Denton, Texas driver. Big Dog Racing, as he is a big dog in this league.
He's the biggest dog in the league.
Yeah,
the biggest dog.
Yeah, the biggest dog. Yeah. Dare I say the biggest. As we get a little picture-in-picture look, this is going to be where we stand currently in terms of Kent Kruger compared to James Newell. Kent Kruger got a long way to go. Sean Teeter sitting in the front of the mid-pack Larry's class. He's got Kurt Moss, the Jamaican driver, right behind him in the 282. A little bit of plain yellow. It kind of looks like art class there with the red, yellow, and blue back to back to back. I feel like I'm getting a nice lesson in primary colors there. As the Donkey Kong 640 of Keegan Garrick going to try to make his way up to Sean Teeter.
As Corey Mitchell into the pits. I'm not sure if he's got any damage here or if that's just a incident points, but he looks like he's creeping in there. That car not a happy machine as it is, Mac. But we've lost a number of drivers. Fortunately, we can't quite take a look at what happened to all of them. But Sean Kapinski, it's like he had an incident early on. Another one of those Mario-themed cars heading into Casio Corner. I said it was going to be exciting here. I believe that's Matt Schlosser on the inside of him there. Spencer Beaudoin behind. Oh, so there's where Spencer Beaudoin unfortunately lost that front end. Just got bottlenecked up in the concert team when all the drivers were driving through. And I think we're seeing a lot of drivers already hitting that 8 incident point here, having to take a drive through, Mac.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to touch on. 8 incident points is what's going to garner you a drive-through penalty here this season in Season 27 of the Apex This Mazda Sunday Series. And when you've got 41 cars out on track, Rob, that's going to be hard to avoid.
Yeah, you can run, but you definitely can't hide from all these cars on track. And we're seeing, let's take a look here. I'm trying to get a gauge of how many cars we have in a line here. Looks like Charles Wolf is at the end of that lead pack, but Lemke, Stern, Brock, and Wallace are trying to bridge that gap here to try and make it about a 10-car lineup now. They are still within the draft, so they can pull in. So it'll be interesting to see if they kind of stay single file here, Mac, to use that draft, reel in the leaders, and see if we can have a nice battle here for the last 9 minutes, see who can win the battle royal.
Yeah, as Michael Brock in the 421, not having the best of days. We typically see him in that top 3, top 5 conversation. That just goes to show the talent of this league in season number 27. But Michael Brock, he always gets a lot of love in the chat. So make sure to sound off on your support for Michael Brock. Also, while we've got a little bit of a lull period here, want to give a big shout out to Apex Sim Racing. They're your one-stop shop for online sim racing accessories and distribution. That's not a word, but you know what I mean. Use code RacerNexus, 5% off. It'll get you a little bit of that cheddar change back for your efforts. Also helps us a lot. Big shout out to Apex Sim Racing for hopping on board. Also, big shout out to Track Cams for Gourmets. That's trackcams22.com. They provide all the car and track cameras you see here tonight and across all of the Racer Nexus broadcast. We've got ourselves a side-by-side battle coming into 130R. It's going to be the 494 and the 23. This is for the lead in the going pro class. Watch out for Joshua Soto. He got that optimal inside line through 130R, so he's going to be all over the rear end of Tom Augerman as these 6 cars actually head into Casio corner. They now look to complete lap number 5. They'll start lap number 6 with just a little under 8 minutes to go. We are getting down into the nitty-gritty. Probably 3, maybe 4 laps to go, depending on how the time works out. But
we got a battle now in mid-pack Larry as well, Mac, is now Keegan Garrick has gotten himself around Sean Teeter to take top spot. So Sean Teeter going to have to see what he can do to gain back that position that he just lost to Keegan Garrick. Garrick, we'll see if that Donkey Kong machine has any barrels left to toss in behind him at Sean Teeter.
Yeah, I was just going to say that while you brought it up as well. Keegan Garrick did get around Sean Teeter. These two, man, they are very, very close. And what you'd normally see, what we saw a lot last season in the Apex This Mazda Sunday Series, was that the mid-pack Larrys, the top 3 was always very spread out. It was, 10 to 15 seconds between each of them. And if we can get good battles for the mid-pack Larry lead here through this season, that's going to make the mid-pack battle between the Going Pros, who are also in the same real estate as the leaders of the mid-pack Larrys. It's going to make it very, very interesting and really going to up the stakes here. Absolutely.
As we see on the inlay there, Tom O'Gorman making the move on the inside of James Newell. I think we saw this move last lap 2 as well, where O'Gorman was able to make the move in through 180R, but Newell was able to get it back into Casio Triangle. Joshua Soto just kind of there, going to try and make it 3 wide. This could never end well here, Mac. Something's going to get one of these drivers going to back out of it. And it looks like it was Soto and Newell themselves both backed out. That's going to allow Tom O'Gorman a little bit of breathing space. We'll see if he's able to hold on to the lead here this time when they head through 130R.
Yeah, you said it towards the top of the broadcast. This track is narrow, and while, yes, I do agree with you, we're also talking about some of the smallest cars that will actually race on this circuit. So, hey, if they want to send it 3 wide through 130R, why not? But, they're going to do the next best thing. They're going to make it 2 wide. As Joshua Soto having to pin it around the outside. Tom Augerman in the 494 is following closely behind, and James Newell being left out of the occasion on this lap.
Yeah, James Newell didn't get an invite to the party on this one, Mac. He's left looking in the window from the storefront. Felipe's going to force him out wide, but Newell going to get the nice run around the outside. They're going to cross the line with just over 5 minutes to go. What a battle. It's probably going to be about 3 more laps here for these drivers to sort it out. You know what? It seems like anybody really wants to hold on to top spot here, which is what we expected to see with the draft being so strong in these cars. And that secondary pack of Stern, Brock, Wallace have caught up now. So we have all the way from first place to 9th place up in this front lead pack.
Yeah, and that means it is anybody's ball game. And if you're John Cooper, the 77, you're on the outside looking in, you're thinking, man, this is probably a whole lot of fun. But he is going to sit in P10. We get a look at Brian Lemke now in the number 41, chasing down what was the leader just a few laps ago. He finds himself in P4. That's James Newell. Tom Augerman with a pass for the lead as they're going side by side as we get to the middle part of the circuit.
Yeah, it's just, it's difficult to stay ahead of these cars, Mac. It's almost, hats off to these guys. I raced Mazda a number of years ago, and we never had turnouts like this, but with this many drivers on track, with being this competitive as well, we have so many drivers that are, you can find at least 5, 6, 7 different guys on track to battle with you. You look at the timing tower, every interval time that's orange or blue means they're less than a second apart from the driver, either ahead of them, behind them. So you can see about 3/4 of the field is within half a second of the driver around them. And you're going to find somebody on track at similar pace to you to battle, which means they're going to be looking at their windshield as much as they are their mirrors too as well. When you get the mirror driving back, it's tough to stay ahead of the car behind you, because that guy's focusing on trying to make a move around you. Meanwhile, you're missing your brake markers, you're throwing it in a little deep, you're maybe drifting out off the racing line or your preferred line. It just makes it difficult. So hats off to these guys battling this hard for now 17 minutes into this race.
Yeah, I 100% agree. But on the other side of that, as we see 130R action going down again, on the other side of that, I've seen a lot of times where the driver behind will zone out and they'll follow the leader into whatever mistake they make. So if you're the following car, if you're one of these drivers, let's say Noel, Lemke, Wolf, you have got to be ready for the mistakes that may or may not be made. Your race is not over until that checkered flag flies and you cross that line. So just as much as these guys have been in the draft train, they've been in P6, they can't go anywhere. The leaders, the two leaders here, Joshua Soto, Tom Augerman, they're fighting through turns 1 and 2. They could have a big off, and then it's anybody's ball game.
Yeah, as you see right now, they thought about going 3 wide. Feliz thought about sticking up on the outside, so backed out of it. You know, I want to see what's going to happen the last lap into Casio corner through 130R. I think that's going to really tell us who's going to win. These guys can battle all they want, but if we're going to send 9-10 cars into those final few corners back, it's going to basically, as I said earlier, be Royal Rumble. Actually, another kind of remark back to WWE, it might be more like a Survivor Series at this point in time.
Oh, okay. Okay, I like that. Ball knowledge. Can't forget the Survivor Series. Dolph Ziggler, 1v4. Who remembers that in 2014? That was incredible. But what we're seeing here is also incredible, going under the Bridgestone Bridge. That's funny to say. As we head into...
That's for sure.
Yeah, it is a mouthful. We're heading around the hairpin now. I mean, these two still side by side, neither one giving an inch, as these drivers still battling for the lead. Next lap will be our final lap of heat race number 1 here, but don't go anywhere. You're getting this exact same race in just a few minutes time. We're gonna have 2 20-minute races heading to your guys for your viewing pleasure, all in and around that 1 hour time slot. You can't really find that anywhere else. It's 41 Mazdas. They're going crazy as we head to 130R for the penultimate time. It's still gonna be Soto, it's still gonna be Augerman. They're side by side.
Come on, James Newell, make it 3 wide. No, he's not going to do it. He's going to push Soto. So here we go. Feliz right there. Those top 4 trying to break away from Charles Wolf, but he's holding the rest of that pack right in there, Mac. But, you know, somebody's going to miss a brake marker here at some point in time, and what happens out of it, who knows. But, you know, we've got a strong contingent here of the MAV Motorsports drivers. We've got Tony Wallace, Charles Wolf, James Newell, all representing MAV Motorsports. So I wonder if the rest of these guys recognize that. See if maybe they team up on this final lap to kind of draft each other and work ahead to keep those MAV Motorsports machines in behind them.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but white flag in the air. Barney is waving it down into turn 1. Soto's got the inside. Tom Augerman gonna dip a few tires off onto that curb. It's gonna compromise his speed just a little bit. MAV Motorsports driver James Newell wanting to take advantage, looking to cash his through goes Hamilton moment. As we start going around the S's here, Rob.
Absolutely. Final time through the S's for these drivers. See the top 4. I think the winner might be coming out of one of these 4 here, Mac. As much as Lemke, Wolf, Stern, and Wallace have been in there wanting to battle, it's been the top 4 who have been basically either the leader or in that top 4 pack for that second pack, not able to quite stay with them. Where you see O'Gorman trying to make the move around the outside. Soto up in the curve, going to get a little loose, so that's going to give O'Gorman a little bit of space, but that's also going to allow the rest of that pack to get a nice draft run here. Will they get the run up into the next corner here? We'll see if they make the move, but the real spot is you're going to want to be leading into 130R. If you come in at 130R with the lead, I think you have a very good chance of winning this race.
Yeah, and Tom Augerman, the Irish driver, the 494, he's getting ready to head towards that corner in just a few moments. We get a look on board here with James Newell, and that mistake by Soto into the double right-hander. He mounted the curb a little bit. That might have just sealed his fate. Soto now going to have to go into a sort of defensive mode. But as we head around the final 2 left-handers before 130R, it's going to be a drag race. We get a look on the back of Tom Augerman there. He's trying to shake the draft from the 07 of Joshua Soto. Newell and Feliz falling in line with whatever Soto does. Now coming to 130R, Tom Augerman, he is committed to the inside. Newell and Soto are around the outside. It's 3 wide heading into 130R. Jim Feliz actually having the best run. Shane Stern's going to spin out. It's going to be 3 wide into Casio corner. It's a 1-by-3. The 07 of Joshua Soto, he fended everything off. The 59 is going to get loose. through the final corner. It's going to be Joshua Soto taking the win here at Suzuka. 2 through 4, it's chaos. I'm not sure what's happening.
Felice and O'Gorman around at the line, Mac, and thankfully they're going to be clear of the rest of the pack. Keegan Garrick and Sean Teeter going to drag race to the line. Looks like Garrick going to hold on to it. No, he did, yes. Thought maybe Teeter got him. There was multiple start-finish lines. Threw me off there for a second, but even a battle down to the end of mid-pack, Larry. But what a finish at the top end of the field.
Yeah, that was incredible to watch. Joshua Soto playing his cards perfectly as he gets things done, and through 130R, it was incredible. Spencer Beaudoin there, Christopher Croteau, match losser, the 400. Him and Croteau having a battle. The 400, a match losser, wow, just took that corner way better.
Car's looking a little rough.
Better. Yeah, that was
the used car parking lot finishers here, Mac. We got some rough looking cars at the back end of the field.
Yeah, that looked like the D-Class limited late model races you can experience over on the dirt oval side of iRacing.
Oh, we got Dylan Foster cross the line backwards. The old Days of Thunder cross the line, throw it into high gear in the pits for me, and away I go.
As that is going to be race 1 all but wrapped up. Wow, that saw entertaining battles for both the Going Pro and Mid-Pack Larry divisions.
Yeah, let's take a second here to reset. We'll take a look at our results here from race number 1, and then we'll have a quick little break here to get set for the feature race. But man, it's going to be exciting if it's anything like race 1, Mac.
Yeah, I agree. So Joshua Soto going to be your leader with 5 laps led. Under a second behind him is going to be Charles Wolf, with Tom Augerman taking home P3. What a job by Charles Wolf. James Newell in P4, Tony Wallace P5. That rounds out your top 5. And then it's Lemke, Greenhoe, Keegan Garrick going to win your mid-pack Larry's class, with Sean Teeter, Craig Thompson rounding out your podium. Mark Sherman and Josh Smith are going to round out your top 5 there. Uwe Hale 21 positions up. Wow, what a hard charger there from Uwe Hale.
Yeah, you got this many cars in the field, and sometimes it's just a matter of staying out of trouble, and you can make up a ton of positions. But stick around, folks. We'll be back shortly here with the feature race, another 20 minutes of action. So if you thought that 20 minutes was fun with 40 cars on track, another 20 minutes with these drivers having 20 minutes of practice racing around each other, it's going to be even that much more exciting.
Yep, without a doubt.
Maska can't defend. He's got the outside left for the second part, and he can't hold on. Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force it off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it. They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
Mazda still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
No back into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh my
and to the
goodness.
line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed race number 1, make sure you follow that little graphic down there at the bottom. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you ring the bell so you never miss a new post either. Into the grid for heat race number 2, or I guess the feature it should be called by technicality. We've got James Newell, who's going to lead us away with Tom Augerman in P2. Charles Wolf in P3 with Joshua Soto on the outside of row number 2. That's going to be because of the top 4 invert. That's how we're doing things here in season number 27. Tony Wallace, Brian Lemke make up row number 3. Kelly Greenhoe and Kurt Moss make up P7 and P8, with Michael Brock and John Cooper rounding out your top 10.
P11, we're going to find Keegan Garrick and Sean Teeter, Michael Chase, and Roman Bykoff in 13th and 14th, with Craig Thompson and Mark Sherman in 15th and 16th, Kent Kruger, Joshua Smith, 17th and 18th, and Felipe Cox and Matt Bond in our top 20.
Row number 11 sees Jim Feliz with Matt Bond, Nick Belasco, and Kenton Bandy in P23 and 24. Harrison Mealy and Matt Schlosser in P25 and P26. Dern, Christopher Crow, Michael Tanagretta, and Ozick Silu take you to 30.
And over in 31st place, we're going to find, Ozick Silu at 30. I'm not sure why he's twice there, but Sean Kapinski, Dylan Foster, and Joseph Mara round out your top 34. Glenn Blanchard, Uwe Hale, 35-36, Justin Back. In 37th, Corey Mitchell. In 38th, Kelly Greenhill. 39th. And rounding out our 40-car field is where we're going to find Aaron Sunday and Mark Chang in 41st.
You can't forget about the main man, Mark Chang, in the back in that Mazda. But we got the MAV Motorsports driver who will be leading us up, and away here. Remember, wave of the green flag by our flag stand flag man, Barney. I didn't know really how to say that. He will control it, and if you look all along our left side, but it's actually the right side of the racetrack, we've got MAV Motorsport drivers in that first, second, and third row, so that is going to play, no doubt, a big advantage. We'll be able to see the cars box up here side by side. They're going to scrunch up. Last few cars coming around the final corner here as we start heat race number 2. That's going to be a lot of drivers moving their way on to the far left side of the track. That's going to be more towards the back, but if you stay towards the front, the form has held. It's going to be 2 by 2 pretty much all the way down until you get to P15 and 16. There's Michael Brock in the blue and pink, almost a little bit of a Miami Vice colorway there. Mark Sherman, a little bit of contact further back from your screen. That's going to be Harrison Mealy in the 017. That's going to be a MAV Motorsport driver. He collects. There's Kelly Greenhoe in the 012. Corey Mitchell in the 63, trying his best. Michael Tanagretta, another MAV Motorsport driver who has unfortunately gotten collected. He is going to take things to the pit. And it sits Newell, Wolf, Augerman, and Wallace as we get started here, Rob.
Yeah, heck of a start there for James Newell. He's gotten out 1.3 seconds ahead of Tom O'Gorman. That's actually verging on breaking the draft here, but we see that pack of cars in behind. They should reel him in very quickly. But you know what? Sean Teeter, King Garrick in the mid-pack. Larry Field got themselves up in the front end again. Oh no, Aaron Sunday with a meatball flag. We know he was probably hoping for a good result. That's going to be a rough start for him.
Yeah, Aaron Sunday, not the best day at the track for him. It sucks that it had to come not only in the debut week of season 27, but a track that he probably was looking really forward to racing. So just all the things that can go wrong are going wrong for the 331 of Aaron Sunday.
And we'll see if he can regroup next week and head on back. But a guy who's looking for a better racer, Jim Feliz. I'm not sure what happened to him, all the way back into 20th place. I'm wondering maybe if that incident at the last lap just before the start-finish line might have got him a drive-through penalty for incident points, Mac, and because you can't serve it on the final lap, you get a 30-second penalty, and I think that's what's moved him back to right smack dab in the middle of the field here.
Yeah, not exactly what you want to see for the 59 of Jim Feliz, but if you're Craig Thompson, the car right in front of him, we've got a lot of contact. We can hear it up here in the booth in front of 130R. That's Christopher Croto in P20 or P35. He started in P29. Kelly Greenhoe finds his way all the way back in the grid after starting P7. So Kelly Greenhoe in that You're Toast car. I hate to say it, but he's a little toast right now. Corey Mitchell in that 63. Mitchell Motorsports, I believe, is what that car is representing. Charles Wolf, the MAV Motorsport driver, he is going to bring things up behind teammate James Newell. And look at that, Rob. It looks like a 1-2-3 MAV Motorsport podium lockout right now.
Yeah, the rest of the field's got to be hating that, but look at this guy up front, James Newell, taking advantage. He broke the draft, and I thought they would reel him back in, Mac, but he's got 3.3 seconds now up on the field. This is something we don't see very often in Mazda Racing, just because that draft is so strong. They can usually reel them back in. It's tough for a driver to really get out of front when we have a strength of field like we're seeing here tonight. So we'll see maybe if these drivers in behind, we know Wolf and Wallace, as you mentioned, teammates of Newell, they're not going to be all that excited to get up there and try and pass him, but they definitely don't want to have to deal with Soto, Lemke, Brock, Lathrop, Moss, and Cooper in behind them.
Yeah, and I wonder if they might be getting the command from either up above or maybe their leading teammate, James Newell. Maybe their instructions are to just leave everybody behind, to take as much time from them as possible. I mean, you can see the MAV Motorsport drivers, they are being very strategic about this. A lot of controversy here in the hairpin. William Stern in the 418, he is going to be sideways, as well as the 119 pink Mazda of Matt Bond.
Yeah, let's take a look at what happened here. I think Matt Bond might have had an issue up ahead of Stern. Oh no, Stern just completely missed his brake marker there, right into the back of Bond. Actually, I'm wondering if, I don't know if he missed it or if that was, I don't want to dare say intentional here, Mac, but that was a ton of pace he was coming in there with. Let's see if we can get an onboard here with William Stern.
Yeah, we'll have a look at it, and you know, everything seems to be going fine. He's on the throttle. Ooh, that might just be an instance of maybe the brake just failed, because he got off the gas. He had every intention of stopping. You know, the throttle telemetry did everything correctly when it comes to prepping for that corner. He just didn't hit the brake, so I don't know if he had a brake malfunction or maybe he just thought the brake wasn't needed. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, that was a strange one for sure.
Yeah, it sounded like he got. Oh man, we got a wreck heading into turn one. Oh, Tony Wallace back on track.
The MAV Motorsport. Oh no, that's going to be a lot of people collected. I think maybe 3 or 4 cars got affected by that. Ooh.
Yeah, it looks like Michael Chase, Tony Wallace. Let's see, Michael Brock, I think, might have had to take evasive maneuver. I'm not sure if he got wrapped up in that or not. I'm seeing him drop down to 24th place. Let's see any damage on this side. Oh, we got some more drivers off just up ahead of them. Joseph Marr, I think that was.
Yeah, Joseph Marr in the 000. That car is going to be pretty much toast.
See if I can. Let's take a see if we can catch a look at what happened here for Tony Wallace. I believe he might have been the driver that kicked everything off here. So let's go on board here with Michael Brock, see what happened to him. He was right in behind Wallace. Oh, looks like Michael Brock got into the back of Tony Wallace. Tony Wallace, oh, he was on the brakes with that car. Just the momentum brought him back on track. Got caught up in Michael Chase. And you know what? It's the end of a number of drivers' race here tonight, Mac.
Yeah, and something I noticed there, I think there was a little bit of a net code issue there into turn 1 as well. One of the cars lost its front bumper, but it was on the complete other side of the track from the incident. So I don't know if that was just really bad net code or if maybe it was only hanging on by a thread. I'm not entirely sure what car it was, but that is going to be very, very frustrating if you are that driver able to move to the proper side of the track to get past that and still losing a front bumper.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that as we go back live. I think something might have happened to Joshua Soto. I see him falling down the standings here. Let's see if we can pick up what happened to him. Oh, he's already around. Ton of damage on that car too as well.
And able to get it. He was able to get it off pretty successfully. All things considered, he was facing the wrong way, and after the cars passed, and he's going to be around again. He's not going to have the... And it's going to be chaos. That's the 77 of John Cooper. I feel like I should do a little better job than just throwing out these exclamations, but at the end of the day...
Yeah, let's go on board here with John Cooper, see what he saw. Unfortunately for Soto, he did the right thing, held his brakes, but just the sheer number of cars we have on track back, they could only go so many different ways where, looks like Soto tried to clear himself off the track, and unfortunately it just happened to be when Cooper was heading through there. So unfortunate there for a number of drivers, but this feature race, it's been a rough one for a lot of our top contenders from the heat race. But this man up front, he was able to get it up front, break away the draft, hasn't really looked back, and he's probably wondering what the heck is going on in behind him.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes sense. James Newell, he had a very good heat race number 1. He had a little bit of, traffic. He had a little bit of battling that he had to get through. But I mean, all in all, he still managed to be at the very top while all that battling was going on. So when all the stuff transpired in turn number 1, all the calamity that we saw lap 1 of this feature race, James Newell just saw that as an opportunity to get out and away, and I mean, that he has, man. 8.5 seconds back to the 494 of Tom Augerman.
Man, look at this. After all that carnage, our top mid-pack Larry driver, Joshua Smith, has got himself into a top 5 position here now, Mac. He's got Keegan Garrick right in behind him, Spencer Bodway there too as well, and Mark Sherman there in 3rd place in class, but 8th overall. So our mid-pack Larrys, they've avoided the carnage, just kind of picking off these positions as they go through. But Spencer Bodway in 7th place, up 15 spots. Joshua Smith up 14 spots in 5th place. We got 4 different drivers who have gained 18 plus positions in the race.
Yeah, I mean, that's when it has been carnage. I mean, big shout out to these drivers for being able to fight through the hardships, through the adversity, and through the carnage and get up here. But at the end of the day, when you've got a lot of people in your top 10 and they've gained over double-digit positions, that's how you know it's been one chaotic race. But the 2 people who have not moved in this entire race so far, it's going to be James Newell and Tom Augerman back towards the front. Typically, your leaders, they don't get too much love here because, suffering from success, man. They're always out in front. They're not battling. But James Newell, Tom Augerman, Brian Lemke even, I mean, he's only up 3 positions, so, he was here, from the jump, as Lathrop going to actually get a very, very good overtake on Brian Lemke there heading into turn number 2. But these guys, man, they have been very consistent tonight. They are being rewarded for it. And, you touched on it earlier with Josh Smith, mid-pack Larry's being top 5. I'm sure his heart is racing right now. So these final 9 minutes are going to just see how clutch he really can be. Can he bring home a top 5 overall and a win for his class?
Yeah, hats off to those mid-pack Larry drivers breaking their way up through the field. Jim Feliz, a driver who we saw had to start, mid-pack on this one due to those points at the end, incident points at the end of the first race. So he's been able to stay out of any issues of those carnage. Got himself up into 9th place, up 15 spots, and working with a few of these mid-pack Larry drivers as they work through the field. So hats off to him, last season's champion, doing exactly what he needs to do to try and take back another championship. Staying out of trouble is half the battle here, Mac, week in, week out.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we've got a full grid here. We had 41 cars here tonight, so it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows for the likes of Jim Feliz. He had a bad heat race number 1. He's got to work on things. That's exactly what he's doing. We see Craig Thompson here, mid-pack Larry's driver. The car right in front of him is going to be the 421 of Michael Brock. That's not going to be for class position, but the car in front of him, the 8 of Felipe Cox, is going to be. So Michael Brock, or sorry, not Michael Brock, Craig Thompson. If you're Craig Thompson, the view is very clear on what you got to do.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to want to stick on the back of Michael Brock, see if he can pull him around Felipe Cox and take advantage of that. We got some staggering showing for a number of positions here in the top 15. We got mid-pack Larry Pro, mid-pack Larry Pro, mid-pack Larry Pro. So it'll be interesting to see here whether those mid-pack Larry cars just kind of let the pros through, or if they try and work together to try and snatch away a position up ahead, because they are technically, oh man, Kent Kruger off track. See, he's able to keep it off the wall, but had a nice race going. That's going to cost him a number of positions. Going to cycle back in just behind Justin Mack and that Bucky's machine.
Yeah, that's going to be a very frustrating and very angry drive down the very long front straight here as we take a look at Kent Kruger, the biggest dog here, the Denton, Texas driver, and, you know, really nothing to say. It was a self-spin. He just got a little bit too happy on the throttle coming out of the second half of that Casio triangle. As Thomas Lathrop in the 84, currently sitting P3. He's got the purple and white Rising Edge. I've never heard of that. That's cool font though. Cool livery for the 84 of Thomas Lathrop. He sits in P3. He sits in the final spot of the podium if the race were to end now. The only problem is it ends in 7 minutes, and Brian Lemke in the 41 Mazda is right behind him trying to take that podium away.
Yeah, Lathrop was able to capitalize on a mistake by Lemke. I think it was not the lap before, or not the previous lap before that one, where Lemke went a little wide into turn one. That's all Lathrop needed to move to the inside and take that final step on the podium. So we'll see if Lemke able to fight back, but you know what? It's really a battle for second place as our leader, James Newell, continues to open up that gap. Kind of gets it up in around 9 seconds, backs off a little bit. He doesn't really have much to push for here, Mac. He's going to have a calm, cool, collected drive for the last 6 minutes.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, last lap, Tom Augerman did run 0.3 faster. He's going to have to make it a whole lot more than that if he wants to catch back up to Augerman. We do only have 6 minutes left, all depending on timing. Driver's probably going to have 2 to go once they get to the stripe. You're taking a look at Felipe Cox right now, heavy, and I mean very heavy, on the back of Mark Sherman. One car up from that is going to be Matt Schlosser in the 400 into 130R. He's going to be battling Keegan Garrick. This is going to be for P2 in that MPL class. Mark Sherman going to get around Keegan Garrick. Joshua Smith and Jim Feliz having a little bit of a battle. Josh Smith now fell down to 7th, and what that means is that Matt Schlosser in that 400 Interstellar SRV Mazda, he is going to be the one fighting for that MPL lead, and he gets around Josh Smith. That's going to be a lead change in our AM class.
Yeah, welcome to the show. Matt Schlosser worked his way up through the field, taking advantage of some of these pro cars making their way around the mid-pack Larrys. He's got Joshua Smith and Mark Sherman right on his tail here, so nothing really settled. 2 more laps to go in this one. We'll see if was that Spencer Bodway and Jim Felice just ahead of the mid-pack Larry's car, or sorry, the pro cars can pull those mid-pack Larrys even farther up the field, as Jim Felice now up into 5th place. A race I thought he might have to toss aside, Mac, in the points championship here. Looks like all in all might have been the best thing for him to start mid-pack.
Yeah, doing a very good job. He's charging through the field up 19 spots. And we got to touch on it viewing the results for heat race number 1, but Uwe Hale sitting in P18 up 20 spots again into P18. Not actually crazy, yes, going to be our hard charger besides Matt Schlosser, who sits in the lead for the MPL. But that Hale Racing blue Mazda of Uwe Hale, very, very good through here at Suzuka, and it just makes you wonder, Rob, what if Uwe Hale would have put down a good qualifying time? Yeah,
well, if, ands, and buts, right? You can always second guess at the end, but they say closest for horseshoes, and you know, maybe if he would have put in a better qualifying effort, he might have got wrapped up in one of these incidents here back. So I guess you just got to kind of try and make the best of a bad situation. So Sean Teeter and Sean Gapinski, the battle of the Seans here for 16th and 17th place, both in different classes, but a little bumping and banging there. Teeter showing a little war wounds on the left front. So that car, you know, it's going to need a little work by the bodymen in the pits. But I'm going to say probably about half to 3/4 of the field are going to see a little bit of damage once this one's all said and done.
Yeah, without a doubt, James Newell going to cross the line, start his 8th lap. Meanwhile, here, Sean Teeter going around the outside, or going around the inside, I should say, 130R. That's going to go to Gapinski in the 823, a Mario-themed car. We head back up to Brian Lemke, who sits in P3. Got Thomas Lathrop right behind him. And right in front of these two drivers is going to be the 494 of Tom Augerman, the Irish driver here, who there's a very good chance it's around 1 a.m., 2 a.m. for him right now. So doing a very good job of fighting that late night sleepiness. And unfortunately, he's got nothing but open track ahead of him because James Newell is so far ahead. Here you see Jim Feliz in the 59, starting to kind of back up this traffic of mid-pack Larry's. And the unfortunate, you know, problem with this is that Baudouin and Jim Feliz, although they are the higher class, they are kind of being looked down upon by these mid-pack Larrys right now because they want to battle themselves.
Yeah, it's a tough situation, especially since the points are only doled out in this league based on where you finish in class. So it doesn't necessarily matter where you finish in the overall position. You want to try and stay against or ahead of your well, classmates, I guess you call them if you go back to school terms here, Matt. But you definitely want to stay ahead of those guys. But we should let in a little secret here as far as Tom O'Gorman. He is an American based in, I believe, Midwest somewhere, if I remember correctly. DJ Alessandrini and he are buddies on the Lizard Brain podcast. We usually see Michael Brock going around. We usually see DJ in here racing the same time Tom O'Gorman is. So it's not actually that late for him. He's running on American time, representing Ireland though.
Well, hey, that's all good and dandy. Tom Augerman in the 494, or Tom O'Gorman. I'm sorry if I've been pronouncing that wrong, but 494 Mazda doing a very good job. He kind of fooled me with the Irish flag, but he is on American time, so he is getting sleepy, but he's not all the way sleepy. It's not middle of the night as we come through 130R here. A little bit of a switchback for the 494 of O'Gorman. And Brian Lemke just going to take the inside, and you don't typically see that, Rob. The inside just bullying the outside off the line. Usually it's the other way around.
Yeah, it's, you know, hats off to Lemke for making that work, but they're going to pick up the white flag this time by. You see Barney not in the tower here for some reason, standing on the side of the track waving that white flag. So even he wants to get down and see that action, but into the turn one here for the final time. O'Gorman going to try and go around the outside of Lemke. Lemke defending the inside. See if O'Gorman can get the crossover. He is not. He's having to defend against Lathrop in behind. So the battle for the final two steps on the podium going to happen here. One of these drivers unfortunately going to lose out on a podium position in pro and the overall.
Yeah, the pro and the overall, like you said, we get a little bit of a top-down look here from Thomas Lathrop. He unfortunately has kind of been the big loser of this all, you know, this 5-car pack, 6-car pack. It seems like he has always been in the back. I'm not sure if it's maybe the brake markers he's missing slightly or if he's just getting unlucky. But now the last lap is the one time where you need to try to make your own luck as I can't believe those Mazdas, they just mount the curves so hard. As you see Joshua Smith there in the smaller bottom right picture, he is going to be your mid-pack Larry's leader in that 235 Mazda. Matt Schlosser, Mark Sherman right behind him. Meanwhile, your main focus in frame going to be on P2. Yes, P2, because James Newell is almost to 130R, and he is going to, you know, unless something crazy happens, he's going to take home feature race number 2, or I guess heat race number 2. It is the feature race. But Brian Lemke, Tom O'Gorman, Thomas Lathrop here. Battle of the Tom and Tom here in P3 and 4. One of them's going to miss out on the podium if they don't catch up to Brian Lemke. Now coming down towards 130R, it's going to be Lemke. He has got a lot of pace on this 41 Mazda. O'Gorman and Lathrop going to have the benefit of the draft. Which way will they choose to go? It's going to be the inside for O'Gorman. He is going to get across, and that is going to be position done for O'Gorman now coming up to the penultimate corner, or the final corners, I should say. And it's going to be hard on the brakes for Lathrop and O'Gorman. Lathrop going to get around on that left side. He moves his way back to the right side to have the inside for the penultimate corner here. And the final corner, as we head around, it's going to be O'Gorman in P2. Lathrop, in a heist of the century, is going to steal it from what I thought was the best looking car that isn't James Newell.
Hats off to them. At the same time, Matt Schlosser was able to get around Joshua Smith as well to take top spot in mid-pack. Larry Mark Sherman going to come home in third. So a couple drivers wait for that last lap, last few corners to make those final moves, Mac.
Yeah, and whoa, we've got a car around sideways. Good save by the 017 of Harrison Mealy. That was no doubt the save of the night. Wow, that was on the very edge of the slip angle. Sean Teeter there, who was at one point tonight battling for the lead in the mid-pack Larry's. He is going to see not that. It's going to be very far from the top of his class, unfortunately. Same goes for Joshua Soto, who looked very, very good in both race 1 and 2. But unfortunately, the problems just could not stay away from the 07. And that's going to be P27 for him.
Yeah, what could have been night there for Joshua Soto. Unfortunately for him, it was even a self-spin just coming through the final, or the third to last corner. You know, that happens. They're really pushing the limit with these Mazdas. You know, there's not a whole lot of setup changes on them, but it is open setup for the Sunday Night Mazda League. So, you know, drivers are taking as much camber out of the car as they can for top line speed. And, you know, sometimes you just push that, click that button one time too many, Mac, and you lose the back end. Looks like maybe that's what happened to Joshua Soto tonight. But fortunately for all our drivers who had a rough start of the season, they've got 22 more of these to come through the next 11 weeks. So plenty of time to make up for a rough race tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, without a doubt, as we go and look at your results here for our feature race tonight, what an incredible night it was. Race 1 and race 2. All you could get inside of an hour. James Newell going to be the feature winner here. 9 laps led. Tom O'Gorman 11 seconds behind. Thomas Lathrop going to be in P3. P4 and P5 goes to Brian Lemke and Jim Feliz.
Yeah, look at that. Hats off to Ozek Sulu. 25 positions gained as the hard charger in Pro Class. So excellent stuff for him. Over in AM, we saw Matt Schlosser able to take the win away from Joshua Smith at the end. Mark Sherman going to round out the podium. Well done for all those 3 drivers. They battled it out the last couple laps. Mac, you never knew who was going to take it between Schlosser and Smith, but well done for them. Coming to the end. And then look at there, Hoovit Hale, another 31 positions gain in the feature race. What a run by him. You know, what could have been maybe if he started a little farther up the field, but he still managed to get himself home 7th in class.
Yeah, very, very good from Uwe Hale. I mean, a lot of good to take away. Just work on the qualifying, and Uwe Hale can be a real challenge for the championship standings here in the mid-pack Larry's.
Absolutely. Looks like we got some drivers in the booth waiting here, Max. So we'll get to them and kind of see how their race went. It looks like let's bring in our race winner, our feature winner. Actually, you know what? Let's start with our race 1 winner, Joshua Soto. Catch up with Mac Nelson.
Yeah, Joshua Soto, Mac Nelson up here in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yes, sir.
Well, tell me, man, race 1 went fantastic for you. Race 2 seemed like it was going to start off on that same trajectory. You had yourself a little bit of a self-spin. Walk me through it. What exactly happened?
Oh, yeah, I was going into, I don't know what the name of the turn is, but the left-hander there. I believe I caught the curbing, and yeah, catching the curbing while downshifting is not necessarily ideal. So, yeah, I started the little spin, caught it, and then got some snap oversteer and wasn't able to catch that one. So ultimately that ended up in us having to get to the pit.
Yeah, it was a good night for you though, and as we look towards next week, you're going to be going to a similar but different track. It's going to be Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. Going to have a lot of high-speed corners, a lot of top-end speed, that you're going to want to set your Mazda up for. Is that a track that, after seeing what transpired here tonight and, knowing how the car feels, is that one you're ready for, or are you looking more forward to week 3 when we go back to America in Watkins Glen?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Watkins Glen is a really great track. I'm really prepared for all the tracks. But yeah, Spa is a very good track. Like you said, it has a lot of high speed turns and things like that. So I'm looking forward to it. It's a very it's a sort of technical track, especially when you're going up Eau Rouge. And yeah, it should be a nice racing.
Yeah, it should be, and I cannot wait to see it. I'm sure you can't wait to drive it. But before we let you get out of here and celebrate for your race 1 heroics, who would you like to thank or shout out for the performance here tonight?
Oh yeah, I'd like to thank Apex Racing, for the league, and then I'd like to thank all of the people that are involved, all the admins. You guys do a great job, and I also like to thank my sponsor, Academy Sim Racing, and yep.
Well, I'm sure your kind words are felt all around the community here in the Apex This Mazda Sunday Series. That's going to be your 07 driver, Joshua Soto, here tonight at SUZUKA.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that was race 1 winner. Unfortunately, 27th place in the feature race. Rough finish for him, Mac. But let's bring in our feature winner, P4 in the heat race, winner in the feature race, James Newell. Couldn't ask for much better result there in the feature race.
Yeah, no, it was pretty much handed to me at the start. I got the lead early on, and I was really hoping that they would start battling because I got that 2-second lead pretty early, and that's usually where the draft starts to break off. And I mean, they seemed to not really care that I broke away and kept dicing it up, and I just put my head down and started turning hot laps and broke away.
Were you surprised when you saw you were able to open up that gap while they battled in behind? I know at one point in time it was a couple of your MAV Motorsports teammates in Tony Wallace and Charles Wolf that were sitting in second and third. Did you think maybe they were going to try and work with the rest of the drivers to catch up with you, or maybe just hold them back so you can get that big lead?
Just because we're a team doesn't mean they're going to make it easy on me. They still want to win, even though they're teammates in first. They weren't just going to let me have it easy. But seeing the situation they were in, everyone was like to each other's throats the entire race. I mean, Heat 1 and the feature race, everyone was just dicing it up. So they might have wanted to, but especially with how last race went, no one was going fast since they were racing every single corner. Like this race, by myself, I was able to do consistent 24s, and the race before we were doing 26s, just battling. So I think they saw once I broke draft, there was not really going to be a chance to catch back up.
Yeah, unfortunately for the two of them, they got wrapped up in something about halfway,
yeah,
3/4 of the way through the race, so they'll have to regroup next week for Spa. But heading into next week at Spa, are you expecting a lot of the same competition here as you saw at SUZUKA? I know Spa heavy in the draft, even more so than SUZUKA. We're going to be real tough for any one driver to try and break away.
Mm-hmm. Spa's a track I'm pretty good at. I've got some experience there in these cars on iRacing, and even if someone did break away 2+ seconds, they're not going to be gone for long. Draft is worth like 2-3 seconds a lap, so there's not going to be breaking away like I did. It's going to be, how do I put it? People are going to have to think through their moves, because you might take someone out at the beginning of the race unintentionally, and they're not going to lose the draft, and they'll be right there at the end and might give you the same kind of payback. So I'm hoping it's just as good racing, cleaner. I could always ask for cleaner racing, but I'm really looking forward to what next week has in store.
Yeah, same here. It always Spa always brings a ton of excitement. I think we're doing the bike layout too as well, which was a special request by myself. So if anybody out there doesn't like the bike layout, I said it in the Discord too. You can suck it. I got my choice. But
Yeah, I'm coming
congrats,
after you. No, I'm kidding.
congrats on the win, James. Before we let you go, anybody you want to shout out there for watching at home and cheering you on?
I would say my family. Thank you to them so much for supporting me through this. All the connections I made throughout racing, all the friends I have. Mav Motorsport and Simcraft have been a huge help in my success in sim racing, and of course Apex This for putting on such a great event, and you two for being amazing commentators.
Flattery will get you everywhere, James. That'll get you some more TV time. So best of luck heading next week into Spa. We expect to see you at the sharp end of the field again. Take care.
Thank you. See you guys.
So that was our feature winner, James Newell. Last driver we have in the booth here is Thomas Lathrop. Bring him in there to catch up with Mac Nelson. Thomas, who finished fourth in the feature race, or third in the feature race, got that move around Brian Lemke. So see what he has to say with Mac Nelson.
Hey guys.
Yeah, Thomas, let's just get started, man. What an incredible stunt from you. Second race, final lap. Walk me through it. Was it like Rain Man? Did you see what was going to happen? Did you just feel the heist for the last step on the podium come in, or was it just something you kind of had to react to?
Well, before I say anything, I want to apologize to Kurt Moss. I got into him a little bit in the first heat, and I felt bad about that. It was on my mind the rest of the night. But it was really only by circumstance that I was with those guys, because I started the feature race in 11th, and I didn't think that I'd be, anywhere near a podium. But it looked like, from what I could tell, there was a lot of attrition up there. And Tom O'Gorman was setting the pace for us, and when we fell in with Brian, him and I went back and forth a couple times. We each made mistakes, and the other person capitalized it. But it's great to have the trust in these people to race them hard and clean. So basically, that last time on the last lap on 130R, Tom took the inside, and you kind of have to follow him through there. So I took the inside, but Brian and I were still side by side. We gave each other plenty of space through that little chicane. But the last little left, he had to tuck in just a little bit, and the run to the checkered flag isn't too long there. If it was any longer than it was, he probably would have got me back, because he definitely exited that corner faster. So pure luck. Just grateful to survive the chaos and had a great race.
Yeah, I mean, it might be pure luck, like you said, but going into season 27, I mean, this is the opening week, man, and Brian Lemke and Jim Felice, defending champion in the Going Pro class here. Two titans of the community, two titans of the series. You got around both of them. Heading into Spa next week, that's got to be going good for the confidence.
I guess so. I hope to keep it up, and hopefully next time we don't have a breakaway. Like, congrats to James, he won by a mile. I felt like for one or two laps we were catching him slightly, but he was so far out there, and then we started battling and he got away again. But it's going to be a great season. I hope that the turnouts continue to be this great, and I'm really excited for the rest of it.
Yeah, well, before we let you get out of here and celebrate your podium, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out for the performance here tonight?
I just want to thank Kent and Brian and Corey and all the people that put on this league. They do a great job, and they have a great group of racers here, so thank you.
Yeah, well, kind words, I'm sure, are felt throughout the community. We appreciate you, Mr. Thomas Lathrop.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
In the post-race show. Yeah, you take it easy, man. Celebrate, and hopefully we'll speak to you next week.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
As our final step on the pro podium winner there, Mac. But yeah, it looks like we got no mid-pack Larry drivers that want to talk to us, so sad face for them.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, Rob, I mean, opening day, 41 cars here. Man, wasn't it incredible?
I don't know if we could have asked for much more. I wish maybe we didn't have so much battling up front. We could have focused on the guys a little farther back in the pack, because you know what, I bet you there was some great battles back there too as well. So we'll see if we can get a little more coverage of them heading into Spa next week. But you know what, if you're out there wanting to join this league, you can find the description, or this Discord link in the description of the video. I always want to say that backwards for some reason, but you can find the Discord link in the description of the video below. Hop in, join in. The league's free to join. They just take donations to help cover the the cost as far as broadcasting and putting on the sessions. And you know what? 40 cars on track, you're going to find a half dozen or so drivers to race with.
Yeah, and I mean, absolutely incredible. And with that being said, that's going to wrap up our coverage for week 1 here in the Apex This Mazda Sunday series. Thank you guys for inviting us into your home. If you did like it, please hit that thumbs up button. It means a lot to us. Subscribe so you never miss content, video streams, whatever that you know are involved with this channel. I mean, we got everything. We got some videos we upload occasionally. We got streams. We've got it all. You've got all the race coverage you need here. Also, big shout out to Apex Sim Racing. Use code RacerNexus for 5% off anything you order on their website. They got bundle builders, man. You can get Fanatec, you can get MOZA, Sim Magic, I believe. I'm rocking the Alpha Evo 12 Newton meter. It did, however, just burn up on me yesterday. However, the great support team at Sim Magic are going to get me set up right. So if that does happen to you, 1, don't blame me. 2, just go to Sim Magic customer support, man. I mean, they're the greatest. Also, big shout out to Track Cams for Gourmets. That's trackcams22.com. They provide all the car and track cameras you see here tonight and across all the Racer Nexus broadcast. My name, Mac Nelson. Alongside me, the boss man, Rob Campbell, on production and commentary. One of the best in the business. Round of applause for him. This is Apex This. You are watching on the Racer Nexus Broadcast Network. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. We'll see you in the next one.